Well, hello everyone. I am Carrie Beck and I'm going to start over. Hello everyone. I am Carrie Beck with Family eBiz. Yeah, we're at the beach here for Memorial Day. Not really, but wouldn't that be nice? I do live close enough that I could get to a beach in about 2 or 3 hours. But no, I am still here in my little home and we are at the beach for the summer. So, right now we are in the middle of a series called Making Sales Online, making more sales online. And today what I want to talk to you about is how you can make some more sales this summer. Before I do that, let me do a little bit of review. And if you are joining us, whether you are joining us for the live or for the replay, let me know what you're doing for Memorial Day. I would love to know if you're doing anything special for Memorial Day. That would be awesome. Ooh, I better make sure this is turned down. Okay. Sometimes I leave my sound on and it gets too loud. Let me know what, we're going to go have some burgers and fries after this. But anyway, so let's review. The first week we talked about where's your focus. It needs to be on serving, not selling. And we need to trust God for our sales. One of the things that some of y'all are like, well, I serve, but are you really serving where your audience needs you to serve? Sometimes we're just putting so much free information out that we're not really serving in the right area. We've got to find their problem. So that's one. The next thing we talked about, what's your message? Does your message, whether it's an email on your website, whatever, does it match up with your audience and their needs and their problems? And if you think you're solving their problem, how do you know that's their problem? And we talked about that last week. Today, what I want to talk to you about, 3 tips for your web pages or your sales pages. And the reason I want to talk to you is right now is the beginning of summer. And some of you want to make some extra money for summer. And so I would challenge you, if that's the case, go and analyze the pages where you have products, courses, resources that you're selling this week and do a little revamp and see if this has something, if you are doing the right things on there. And then if you can make some changes now, it may take a week or two for it to all filter in, but maybe your new visitors or your returning visitors will see something different and all of a sudden they'll go, that is my problem, and she is solving that problem. All right, so let's start with this. Tip number 1, when they come to your web page to, let me see. Okay, let's start with, I'm going to take, I have them in different order written down, but first one is, I believe you need to sell on web pages, not blog posts. I personally believe blog posts are for content, education, freebies, lead magnets, those kinds of things. Now, having said that, as you're reading, you can always link to a paid resource, or at the bottom of that content, if you need more help with this, here's a product. But too often, some of the things that we actually do, hey AJ, some of the things we actually do, I was helping a mastermind student, and she had her product on a blog post. And so the thing about blog posts is usually there's lots of other links. There's all sorts of things going on a blog post. And people usually land on blog posts to try to get some information and educate themselves. So I personally think if you're in WordPress, there's a difference between posts and pages. Posts are your blog. Pages are independent of that. I put all my products on a page. Blog posts are for education. Pages are for selling. That's what I do. If you're trying to sell in your blog post, I think you're going to lose continuity, especially if they're scrolling down. It's like, is she just trying to sell me stuff? So if you have a product that you want to sell, create a blog post that introduces it, that has some educational value, and then send them on over to the actual product. So that would be first tip. Second tip is when they land on a page to buy, there should be one decision: to buy or not to buy. You don't need a bunch of ads on there. You don't need a bunch of sidebars and all that extra stuff. We've actually created a template that allows you to, every time we put a product up, it's on that template. There is no nav bar on that template. They cannot click anything. There are some things at the very end, but there is nothing at the top. because I want to capture their attention and get them reading so they will buy that product. So when they land on a page that you are selling them something, one decision. Are they going to click and buy, or are they going to click off and go somewhere else? Now you may be going, well, if they click off, I'd rather them at least go to the blog. That may be true, but hopefully they've gone through your blog and they've seen all the other parts of your website, and then they've landed on your sales page. Because that's sort of the funnel that I tend to use. Go through the blog, go through a video, go through the podcast, whatever. I'm giving out free content, and then they land on my sales pages. So I think that is really important. A confused mind does not buy. If they're confused and they get there and like, well, does she want me to buy this resource or click on here? Or here's a Google ad, should I do that? You got so much going on, they don't know what to do. So that's why I think it's really important you look at your pages again and see how easy it is for them to understand what you want them to do. I want them to buy when they land on there. Now, then tip number 3 is, are you sharing features or benefits? And I'm going to talk about that. We talked a little bit about this last time, but I think it's really important. A lot of you, or I'm not saying a lot, but some of you, I have seen some of your web pages because you've asked me about them, and it says, oh, it's a 324-page ebook, or oh, it has 3 audios, 2 PDFs, and an audio, or it has a Facebook group and 2 PDFs. Those are features. Or it may say, whatever features are, it's just telling what is in that product. Benefits. Benefits are what's in it for them. We talked about that last week. WIIFM. What's in it for me? Everyone listens to the same radio station. And so you need to be talking about benefits. How is it going to solve their problem? How is it going to make their life easier? Is it going to save them money, save them time, save them hassle? What is it going to do for them? That is what needs to be at the top. And you can include features. I'm not saying you don't include it. But if you put that and that's all you do, they're like, I don't know. You have to actually sell something to them. So here's what I encourage you to do. Start with a headline. Now, I'm telling you, this is old school. This is direct marketing. I learned a lot from Dan Kennedy as well as Armin Morin and some other people. I am standing here. We got our business library right there. I got so many Dan Kennedy books over there. And they all talk about starting with a headline, because a headline will get their attention. And I always put it in bold, big and bold. That needs to be something that gets their attention, whether that solves their problem, points out their pain points. You've got to point something out to them. A few of the ways that I start my headlines are discover, blah, 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 blah. Like I just did a video for my homeschoolers. Discover how to have a better homeschool. Well, they're probably like, oh, I'd like a better homeschool. Or another one is how to. Actually, that's what I actually used. How to have a better homeschool was the actual title of the video that I just taught. And that was all free content. But at the end, I sent them to a page, not a blog post, a page to go buy my course. 7 ways to, or 5 tips to, or 3, what, I don't know, use some kind of numbers. People love numbers. All right. Those are just 3 tips on a headline. Put that at the top, and then realize that if they don't like what they see at the top, they're not going to keep reading. The headline drives them to the first sentence. The first sentence drives them to the second sentence, that drives them on and on. So that is one way to look at it. The other thing I think is important is you need to have sort of headlines all the way down, subtitles, because people don't read everything. Now, there are people that will read everything if they're interested. Like my Raising Leaders, it is, I don't know how many pages it is if you print it out, but it is a long sales page. There's 6 modules. There's like 10 bonuses. There's timely bonuses. There's a guarantee. There's testimonies. There's all sorts of things. But the headline starts, and then I want to capture their attention and keep their attention. So go back. Even you don't need a long one like that. Let's just say you're selling an ebook, and I have some ebooks. Well, I may put the headline, and then I'm going to tell them how it's going to solve their problem in 1 paragraph, and then maybe I will tell them what I'm doing for them, or a testimony, and then I may give them the features and the buy button. It could be as simple as that. It doesn't have to be super long. So I am looking to see if anyone has any questions or thoughts about it. I would love to know if you have a sales page that already has all of this information, or if you need to do some things to improve your sales page. Which one of these three tips would help you the most? Would it be that you need to get all your products off your blog posts and put them onto web pages and only have education free content on your blog posts? Or do you need to go back and look at your pages and see if there's only one decision, or do you have a bunch of ads on your sales pages? Or do you need to go back and look and see, are you giving features or benefits? You need to always start with the benefits. You need features, but like my 6 modules, but every module has a title that's hopefully highlighting a benefit. So it'd be real easy for me to say, you're going to get 6 modules. We'll cover these 6 topics, and then we'll go with these 10 bonuses. And I have a Facebook group. Those are features. I need to tell them how this will change their life. That's what you're really looking for, transformation. Hey, thanks for spending time with me. If you've never gotten our Family eBiz Blueprint, go get it at familyebiz.com. Y'all have a great Memorial Day if you're listening to me live. If not, then have a great next year Memorial Day, and we will talk to you. Oh, starting next week, I am beginning a series on affiliate marketing. I think it's going to be about 4 or 5 weeks long, and every week I will be giving some ideas on how you can sell other people's products to get started immediately, because a lot of you don't have your own products. Well, let's start selling someone else's products. All right, I'm Carrie Beck with familyebiz.com. Y'all have a great day.